So apparently, a fellow VTuber, and I do not know who exactly they are, because they did this literally during their first stream. They said the word retard. But not directed to a person or anything. As I understand it, they said it's a retarded situation. And of course, this got the righteous, moral busybody people on Twitter outraged, because apparently it's a slur. Now, I find it very interesting because I see it being used quite often, especially in my country. It's synonymous with the word stupid. Like, you don't even think about it as a slur. It's being used even towards things that are inanimate, like this retarded camera. Right? But apparently, the law is and the rules of society are now made on Twitter by people on Twitter. And according to them, words like idiot, cretin, dumbass, fucktard, they're fine, but if you use this other word, you should be fired, your life should be terminated, and the people who do this should be considered as moral and righteous individuals. Now, another VTuber by the name of Rosa Coatl wrote a very interesting post disagreeing with this take, and she says that the modern word of the use retarded is just synonymous with the word stupid. When someone says or something or someone is retarded, they aren't saying it has mental disabilities, they are saying it's stupid. Most people I know personally that have learning disabilities of some sort are usually not the biggest fans of the word, but they aren't offended when it is used towards someone else. Some are offended and some aren't offended even when it's used towards them, but those are both edge cases. By the way, my mother worked as a behavioral therapist for folks with learning disabilities, and a lot of regulars I had at GameStop had learning disabilities. I know and have worked with a lot of people with these difficulties. I don't say that I'm 100% correct, but I say that given my insight, where I'm coming from knowing a lot of people from the affected group, and even being friends with many, I also say it to express, I'm not talking about one or two people, I'm talking about a decent size pool. The majority of these folks have expressed to me that when they find it truly offensive is when people can't take the insult and choose to deflect it back at them by claiming that they should be offended. Why should I be the one that's angry? I'm having a hard time with new things, but I'm not stupid, and they aren't insulting me. When someone says you can't say that word, it's offensive to people with learning disabilities, they're basically saying, no, when you call someone stupid, you're saying they have learning disabilities. Deflecting the insult back at these people and effectively calling them stupid by equating the words having a learning disability is not stupidity. They are not in the same meaning, and how many people seem to think they are is genuinely concerning. Majority of these people are not stupid. A lot of these folks are extremely smart but have a hard time acquiring new knowledge, learning new things through conventional means. Many of these folks have a hard time expressing how they feel, conveying their understanding or stuff. For that same second reason, a lot of them choose to stay quiet out of fear of explaining themselves and then getting criticized or even outright bullied. So she goes out and goes through this very interesting explanation, which I found it to be quite insightful. However, she used the word retard on Twitter. And as I mentioned before, the moral busybodies, the modern version of soccer mothers without children, are posting on Twitter to her company trying to get her fired. And while it didn't work, the company did give her a paid vacation. We are aware of the posts and comments of our persona under our name Rosa Coatl, also known as Genie Mercurialis. She made regarding certain comments that were inflammatory on Twitter. Per the result of our internal investigation, we have decided to suspend her activities for 10 days. During this time, Rosa will be prohibited from streaming and making content. She will resume her activities on June the 5th. We hope to also help this time to engage in open dialogue within our organization and to think about what our company's values are moving forward. At Lucid Multimedia, while we respect and actively encourage the sharing of different perspectives and opinions, we also acknowledge that there is also an appropriate time and place and occasion for such topics to be discussed. In this particular case, Rosa's posts were deemed both inappropriate for the occasion and unprofessional as a befitting member of our organization. Because of this, because this was not the first time Rosa engaged in the topic haphazardly, we have decided to suspend her to please the righteous individuals on Twitter that are the pillars of our American society who instill values into you and your children's children. But as you can see, it got 194,000 views and only 277 likes, getting ratio to high heaven. And what's more importantly, the R-gate was actually trending on Twitter. And this was horrifying to the soccer mothers without children that were on Twitter, saying, "Oh my God, what a world! How can people think this way? Oh, the insanity." The reason they were saying this is that the power was sucked away from them. They were depowered. You see, these are not empathetic creatures that just want the best for society and humanity. These are individuals that use political correctness in order to dominate other human beings, to feel that they're in charge, to feel that they're on top of the situation. And it seems that on Twitter, people had enough. And they're like, you know what? No one was called a slur. It wasn't directed to a person. And on top of that, why is it that you get to make ideology? Why is it that you get to set the standards? How does it make sense that this word is bad? But as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the word cretin, mora, those are fine. It's just like this particular one that you don't like. Why is that? Why do you get to make these? You know what? I will not listen to you. And this horrifies the soccer mothers without children who are perpetually online. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, we're not going to be able to get people fired for saying words that we consider people shouldn't say? Like, but how are we going to get power? How can we dominate other human beings? Look at what predicament you have placed us in, right? So all of a sudden, they're like, oh my God, the humanity. Oh, they lack empathy. Oh, no, 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 no. You know, there was a person that literally said, I am so sad. I am so sad for the people that are around you in your real life. The pain they must experience to be around a troll like you. And I was like, you know, how sad are you from a scale of 1 to 10? I am a 11. I am a 11. I'm so sad. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're so sad, we can start a GoFundMe for the people in my life. You know, like they have to deal with me. No money in the world would make the people feel happy because like you're in their life. These people, I genuinely think the description soccer mothers without children is absolutely spot on. And I think you should actually catch on a little bit because they do act like the previous version of think of the children. Like, how can you say this? How, you know, there is a reason why on American television people used to say the F word. Because in some situation you have to say the word fuck. You know, like for example, when we discuss about why another person got fired for saying the offensive word. Right? So when reporting the news, because someone has said it, normally you have to say the word as well so people know what the fuck you're talking about. But because there may have been children on the other side of the screen, then people would say the F word. Right? So that if a child is present, he doesn't know what we're talking about. But now, because the new culture is that everyone is treated like a child, we're all children, we can't think for ourselves, we need fact checkers, we need trust and safety council, we need to be protected like the children that we are. We need to not be able to say words. We need to say the R word, right? And if you actually say it, then the people who want to dominate you and have power over you, even though you didn't direct it at another person, and in this case, as we saw Rosa Coatl did, she's just having a very insightful conversation about the subject, they are going to be attacked. Why? Because they are taking away power from the eternal soccer mothers without children. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.